Hi, I'm Rachel with Patterns and Pixels Canada, and on today's video I'll be working on block 3 of my Symphony quilt, which is the LeMoyne Star. I will be making 12 of these in a few different colorways. In this video I will also be discussing my new system for storing my projects, and I will give you a brief explanation as to why it has been 8 months since my last video. Let's get started. I'm finally ready to start block 3 of my Symphony quilt. If you saw my previous videos, you know that I'm a little bit behind. I'm getting there. Here we are. Okay. Just to make sure. Yeah. All right. That's a lot of fabric. That's a big stack. You know, I don't think I've had that green shade before. Ooh, I like this. It's a nice color. Okay. Block 3 is a lemon star? I don't feel like I'm saying that properly. LeMoyne? Lemon? Alright, there'll be a Google just to check the pronunciation of this block. Sort of, is it trapezoids? Sewn together. How many do I need to make? Oh my goodness gracious, I need to make 12. Is that right? The first instruction, the first note says it can be a difficult block to sew. Okay. Apparently inset corners cause a difficulty. But if I use the connector method, no inset seams are needed. That's a lot of words that I don't know what they mean. All right, half square triangle, I understand that, I can do that. I add the half square triangles to the ends of each rectangle. And then magically I have this block. Okay. Oh, I'm out of practice from sewing. It's been a while. I've been on holiday. My sewing machine was in for servicing, and I kind of thought coming back and doing block 3 would be like a nice, you know, getting back into the swing of things. I'm regretting picking this as my project to start with. Okay. I'm just taking a very close look now at the colors. And they have the colors on one side, and then this side is the numbers for each of these. Because if you watched my block 2 video, I put the pieces in the wrong spot. And it looks like, what I'm seeing right away is that the green is used on 1, 2, 3, 4 of the blocks, but in different places. So I get to make sure I get that right. Same thing with the light blue. You know what I'm noticing? Okay, the red and the white are only on one block. I'm gonna do that block first. Because those colors aren't on any of the other blocks. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one first. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have to make 12 blocks with 6 different color combinations. The one that needs the red and the white is block 3C. I'm going to do that one first because those colors aren't needed anywhere else. And I'm just glancing now. I'll probably do block 3E afterwards because that's the only one that has this dark purple color. I feel like instead of going in order, block 3A, block 3B, if I go out of order like this and do the ones that only require certain fabrics, maybe I won't have a problem this time. Fingers crossed. Okay, normal system for this, I'm going to best press all of my fabric with my handy dandy mister and get everything pressed with the iron. Then I'll go over to the cutting mat. I'll get all of my fabrics cut and into position. Again, I've got another one of those blocks where I'm going to end up with a lot of units that are the same size. And only because of the mistakes I made with block 2 am I very worried about mixing things up. You know what? I'm not going to cut all of them. Normally, I get everything cut and laid out and ready. But if I'm going to be doing this sort of slower, so I'm less likely to make a mistake, and I'm going to start with block 3C, I'm only going to get the colors cut for block 3C. I'm not going to cut the other ones. I'll get them pressed and ready, but I'm not going to cut them until I need them. Yes, let's try that this time and see if it makes a difference. All right, I'll get those jobs done and I'll see you in a few moments. I have the first unit of the first of 12 blocks finished. And you know what? I didn't have any difficulty putting this together. Now, you know I'm not an experienced quilter. So at the beginning when it said it can be a difficult block to sew because of the inset corners, but by using the connector method, no inset seams are needed. Not having been an experienced quilter, I'm not entirely sure I've ever used inset corners. Therefore, I have no experience with them. Using the connector method that they provided made putting this together quite easy. Each block needs 4 of these. And then once you have all 4 of these units together, you have a block. So I'm going to move the camera to look at my board to show you what I've done. On here, I've got all of my pieces for that red one cut and ready to go. I do have the second block I was going to make, the one that had that darker purple. It's all best pressed and ready to go. I haven't cut it though, because I wanted to make sure I had dealt with all of these little teeny tiny pieces before I cut any more. And then on the back counter there, I still have the other ones still folded up, still with their numbers and their labels. I haven't even best pressed them or anything yet, because as I mentioned with block 2, there was a few mistakes. And I've been trying to avoid that happening with block 3 as well. So let's move the camera and the cat and I'll show you how I made, excuse me, Seamus. I'll show you how I made this unit. Come on, you can help me. Come on. Yes, you're such a good boy. Okay, so that is my completed unit for this block. I found putting it together interesting. The square right here is just simply a half square triangle. So putting that together was fine. That I've done that enough times now. Very comfortable with doing that. That one is just a solid square. But creating this rectangle here, I had to go slowly, I had to take my time. But once I figured it out, again, not too bad. You start with your larger rectangle, and then I need, just checking my directions, this square on this side. And I'll use my flicker pen to draw a diagonal line, and you actually stitch on the line for this particular block, not a 1/4 inch from it. And then that way when you press it back, you should end up with that shape. Now what they said in the pattern was to be careful not to accidentally make a flying geese block, because normally if I was making a flying geese block, I would have that shape on the left and that shape on the right. And you can see from here that I don't actually want that triangle, that blue triangle, to go down. I want it to go up. So I still put it face down, or sorry, right sides together on this side, on the right-hand side of my block. But instead of drawing my line from that corner, I draw it from this one. So my piece will fold like that. And that's how I get my shape. And then once I have these three components ready, they then get sewn together to make this block. And each block requires 4 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one finished. I'm going to just work on getting one done because of the problems I had with block 2. Rather than making sort of an assembly line and getting all my pieces together, just to start with at least, I'm going to get one entire block finished to make sure I'm doing it properly. Then I'll go through and do more of an assembly line with the other ones that are coming up until I have a total of 12. There we are. Took me a little bit longer than blocks normally do, but I have finally finished my first LeMoyne star. And that is how you say it. I looked it up. The reason why I got stuck on the pronunciation earlier, I think, is because on these plans, the whole word is spelled in lowercase. But when I searched for it, the M is capitalized. So I feel like, had it been capitalized on here, I might have said it correctly the first time. So this is a LeMoyne star. And not too bad. I'm happy with the center. I did fiddle a bit with some of the points on the edges here. I found the 3 colors joining together, it really showed if they weren't exactly meeting up the way I wanted them to. I did also, I completely forgot. I said at the beginning of this video I had just had my machine serviced, which sounds great, and I started sewing. I forgot to measure to make sure that I still had a 1/4 inch set on my machine. And so the first few blocks that I made were a bit off, or first few units. And obviously now I know that's because I didn't check my seam allowance before I started. So note to self, remember to do that next time. So this is my first of 12. And this has taken me a good part of the day. But I was going really slowly because of what happened with block 2. The other bits here are for the other ones that look like this. I need a total of 3 with these colors. So I'll do the other 2 in this before I then go to these fabrics. And these ones I need 3 in these ones as well. So I'll do this one next because it only requires these 3 colors. Then I'll start getting to work on the colors that I have over here. Like I said earlier, my only concern there is that the green is used in the other 4 blocks, but in different ways. And I'm really nervous about putting the wrong green in the wrong block and getting it turned around. So fingers crossed. Nice and slow. I shouldn't have a problem. We'll see. I'll get started with that, and we'll see how long it takes me to get the other 11 blocks finished. But hey, not a bad start, right? You saw that correctly. It has been 8 months since I filmed the first part of this video. I'd like to clarify that it did not take me 8 months to make these LeMoyne stars. Some of you may recall that I do live and work on a small hobby farm, and our summer was busy. Lots of projects underway, and I've said before that living things get precedent. They get taken care of first. And by the time animals and plants had been taken care of, I did not have enough hours left in the day to then do quilting. So this project got put aside. And now we are well into winter and I'm able to come back to my sewing machine. So much so, in fact, that we've actually had 8 significant winter storms in the last 3 weeks. Significant enough that I have basically been stuck in the house, which is fine. I have a generator and I have a sewing machine. That is all I need. I have all 12 of the LeMoyne stars completed, which you saw in the previous clip. In terms of difficulty, no, I wouldn't say they are difficult, but there are a lot of pieces. And I personally felt it tedious to make 12 of the exact same block. I was very bored by the end of it. So I did it in small pieces. I did a few each day. Again, it didn't take me 8 months to do this. It probably took me 3 or 4 days, but that was 3 or 4 days only recently because the last 8 months I wasn't sewing at all. No mistakes made this time round, thankfully. As you know, block 1 and 2 both had mistakes. And yeah, I mean, that was it. All the points have lined up quite nicely, pinned it quite a lot, best pressed. But the blocks themselves were fairly simple to go together. I did go 1 block at a time instead of doing like an assembly line of them so that I could avoid accidentally mixing up colors. Personally, I like this one the most. The purples and the blues appealed to me. Doesn't mean I don't like the other ones, but I just like that one the most out of all of them. The only other change that I've made since the last time I did any filming was switching to these baskets. I had been using this binder, but I just couldn't fit everything in. And I did a little measuring and found that I could fit 4 of these baskets inside my cupboard on the shelf, which means I can fit like a project inside each basket. So for this one, each of these is one of the blocks. So that's the first set of instructions, block 1, block 2, and block 3. And of course, this will all go back inside the pouch for block 3. Because it has been 8 months since I did this, all of these ones have all the other blocks in them ready to be made. I haven't opened the packets yet, because I'm going to do that with you. I'm hoping not to actually leave this as a block a month in terms of my videos. I'm trying to catch it up. So I'll try to do a couple of blocks each month to get back to where I'm supposed to be. I do also have in here the thread that I use for this block and that extra fabric that Creekbank had provided to us. And I also keep the large freezer bag from Ziploc box in here because that is the size of Ziploc bags I am using for this particular project. And all of that fits in nicely in my cupboard. And then I've seen online little clips that you can get so that you can label them. So I plan on buying that next. So that way I know what each of my projects are. And this is how I keep everything organized. I don't like having things across my counters, especially not only for my brain. I need things tidied off in a way, but I do also have the cats. And they sometimes take liberties with things that they find and make off with them. So if I keep it in the cupboard, I'm less likely to lose anything. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and for those of you that have been following me, thank you for waiting 8 months for me to actually make this video and post it. Hopefully the next few ones come a little bit faster now that it's winter and I'm less often outside working. You know what to do if you've enjoyed watching this rather delayed video and you'd like to see the other ones maybe go a little faster. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification. Bye.